Well, especially if you're opening for somebody, you know not to put any of their songs in your
Oh,
playlist.
yeah.
That'll get you off the stage almost instantly.
Had one turntable that had a pitch, belt drive. The other one didn't.
It was one of those old turntables with the big horn.
I'm not quite that old. Not that old, Jared, but
You gotta wind it up. Yeah.
Here's another episode, and I'd love to welcome to the show today, Jared Love. Thanks for coming on the show, bud.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate
coming
it.
on, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. So tell us a bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I actually just, I was born in the States. You know, my mom's American, my dad's Canadian.
Really?
Moved here when I was 2, and I actually just lived down the street for the longest time, and then I moved out to Aldergrove. Graduated out there, and then, yeah.
Oh, you're a local boy.
I'm a local boy, yeah.
DW Poppy?
No, I went to ACSS.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's my old hood.
That's right, man. It's totally gone.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah.
You're not a local boy yet.
I'm not like
And, lived out in this area, and then was doing all sorts of different construction, plumbing, stuff like that, and started going out to raves. Decided I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I like this music thing. So I decided to start DJing. And then at a certain point, fairly quickly, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go anywhere if I don't produce music. So I started to try producing music. Awful. I was terrible at it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit my construction job. I'm going to start going to school. I went to school at the Art Institute of Vancouver.
Okay. And when was that, roughly? Sorry.
Oh, that was forever ago, 2013.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah.
And I'd already been DJing for a couple of years, and I went to school for sound engineering, did that, and then while I was doing that, I moved downtown, and that's basically
Cool.
where I am. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how did you get into DJing then? Obviously, because you
Just going out to raves with my friends, and I kind of was like, okay, well, I want to be a DJ, you know, like everyone does after their first rave. They're like, I could do that. Right?
Did you used to stand at the front and watch them?
We always did left side,
Yeah.
left side of the thing, because then you're close enough to the stage, but then you can get out to go grab a beer quickly if you want to. You don't have to push through people. You know, we did it strategically. We were like,
you went down, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's funny because I actually a couple years ago, my buddies were at some show and I got off work early. And I was like, I'm going to go surprise them. I know the people running the show. So I got a little guest list and snuck in. And I just stood behind them. And I'm like, hey, what are you guys laughing about? And they're like, what are you doing here, right? And I was like, I knew exactly where you guys are going to be. Just left of the stage.
Just left of the stage.
Yeah.
I used to be stuck
cool,
as
man.
close as I could get. Wherever I could be, wherever event it was, I would be as close to that front edge as I could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, again, back in the day, sometimes you could literally, you'd be there peeking over. You could touch the turntable.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I like being at least about 10 feet away from the front. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to get crammed in.
Yeah. I'm 6'8", so people use me as the homing in beacon, you know. There's that fucking tall guy there.
There he is. There he is. Yeah.
Head bobbing above the crowd.
That's awesome.
And then, so, talking of raves and events then, sort of local ones, which were your kind of first, experiences?
So first I was kind of just into like the normal EDM, electro, that's kind of what everyone, trance, stuff like that. And I just kind of slowly matured more into like deep house, underground house,
Yeah.
place you can go and you can dance, but you can also just have a conversation with your friends while enjoying the music as well. It doesn't have to be like, we're thrashing tonight. you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's kind of how I started. I think my first rave I ever went to was the Bloody Beetroots.
The Bloody Beetroots. Yeah,
What
okay.
is that?
Yeah, they're like electronic, but they're also like a live band as well.
Cool.
Right.
It's kind of cool. They wear like black Spider-Man masks. It was fun. It was a
Yeah,
good time,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
was
it's
kind
pretty
of
sick.
what opened everything up.
Sweet.
And I just got into it.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Which rave stood out to you the most or inspired you the most, to get knee deep in the whole thing, Like, was there any particular artist, like
Let's
the
see.
DJing and techno?
Just all of them. I just enjoyed the experience, really. It was just like from that first rave I went to, it was kind of just like, okay, I like this. Everyone's having fun.
Yeah.
No, like, when you go to a club and there's like people that are like, aggressive and stuff like that. I was never like, I didn't really like vibe with that.
Yeah.
Kind of like, let's go out and drink and listen to top 40. I was like, okay, this is kind of more my speed. I like this. Everyone's kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So.
And
Yeah.
what year was this then? Like when you got into it?
2012, 2013.
13, okay, so...
Around there, yeah. About 2010 to 2013. Right when the Olympics were happening here is kind of when we first started all going out. We had like a big crew. We were like, the boys.
What was the music scene like back there compared to now? What was the style of music?
It's kind of the same because like a lot of the ones we went to were like the Blueprint events and stuff like that, and then random little events here and there. We dabbled in throwing our own kind of events, but it was just mainly at least EDM as far as I knew at that time. And then after a couple years, I went to like just this random little show. It was just tech house, deep house, and I was like, whoa. I was with my buddy Cody, and I like looked at him. I was like, this is kind of what I'm into. He's like, yeah. He's like, I like this too. So from there, we kind of just went more into the underground, and we weren't going to as many raves with our friends. They'd invite us out. We're like, that's not really our style anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I find the underground's really kicking in.
Yeah.
Kicking in over here now. It's really started to come in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Time, yeah.
It's getting bigger, and especially like since COVID and the pandemic, like there's a lot of other people that weren't throwing parties before that are throwing parties now, which is like when everything does open up, it's just gonna make everything bigger, right? And it's gonna make the scene a lot better.
How did it go when you did your parties?
The first one's not great.
No.
Not great at all. No comment. Yeah.
We've all got to start somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That's the thing. Like even with like whether you're a DJ, whether you're an events promoter or anything, everyone starts somewhere. What you may be doing now is not what you're going to be doing in the future. And,
absolutely.
Good mindset, mate. Yeah. That's really good.
So yeah, you just got to respect the process.
Yeah.
Just go and live it, and what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
How many people? Sorry, I know you're just about to ask something, but when you did do your own events, was it with a few buddies? Like, was it a group, or was it just a couple of you?
Yeah, it was a few buddies. We went under the name of DDC, the Dirty Disco Cartel. Just
Dirty
super.
Disco Cartel. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And yeah, the parties didn't do that well, but we had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
We don't think we made too much money. But
we had. It's not about money at that point, is it?
Yeah. We were trying to like figure out how to do it and what we're doing, and like obviously
and
they had me as a DJ, so they're like, we don't have to pay an opener DJ because I was doing it, and
And where did you do them?
We did one at the Red Room, we did one at the old Caprice, and I think that's kind of like we just did the two, and then we were like because there were so many people doing it, and this was right as I was getting into like more of the underground. My friends were still in that, so they were like, let's book this person, and I was like, I'm not really into that kind of music anymore. And
that's cool. Super cool.
Yeah, I mean the Red Room, where's that? I don't.
Red Room is close to Gastown. It's like it's right by the train station there in Gastown.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the actual street, but Red Room's still around, still there. They do a lot of bass music shows there.
And what's the Caprice like? Is that here still? Is that gone?
It doesn't exist anymore. It's actually Colony Granville.
Okay.
If you've ever been on Granville Street,
no,
it's the new
I've got to admit,
kind of like a bar, restaurant. They have a lot of like games. They have like the old NBA Jam on the arcade.
Oh, really? Yeah, cool.
So, it's not too bad. That's actually a Blueprint
venue
as well.
Cool.
Which Caprice was Blueprint as well.
Okay,
they just kind of switched it to more of a restaurant bar style.
So like Blueprint is kind of like the main promoter in Vancouver, would you say?
For like electronic music, there's a bunch. It really depends on what style of music, but Blueprint really kind of just does a lot of everything. They do some underground events, they do some mainstream, they do those big shows like Contact, Seasons, Fade in the Park, stuff like that.
Well, Fade in the Park's in Surrey, right?
That's in Surrey.
Yeah.
It used to. Oh yeah, no, not a problem. It used to be out of like the fairgrounds at the P&E then they moved it out to, I believe, don't quote me on that, but I believe that's where it was because I think I went to one there and then it all switched out to Surrey.
And when did you actually get involved with the Blueprint guys? Like, if you...
So when I moved downtown, I just figured like the easiest way to be able to meet people in the scene and get my name out there is I just started actually working at Caprice. That's actually how we got... we were able to throw the party there because I already worked there. I worked there as a busser, and then worked my way up to the head busser, and then bartending, and then they moved me over to venue to take a management position. So,
and this is all after obviously you've made your decision to not be in construction anymore and
chase
this dream.
Yeah, this was all excellent. I was like, obviously, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna go work in the bar. Maybe I'm not making as much money, but it's helping me do my DJing thing.
And pretty much it is a part of the stepping stone of your journey, right?
Well, it made it a lot easier because I was like talking to these people all the time that were throwing the events for Blueprint and stuff, like Ali Sani. You know, I was talking to him. He's like, "Oh, you work here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm also a DJ." Blah blah blah. And then he's seen me in the scene, and then he's offering me gigs, and you know, and I built a really close relationship with him just because through being able to talk to people and working there, and they already see that I'm a good worker, and they're like, "Oh, you're also this person."
It's networking, being part of the scene.
Absolutely. Right? Networking's probably bigger than the actual music portion if you're trying to be a DJ, is like being able to meet people.
It is now. I think a lot of the time the DJs now, it's all about your own promoter, you're your own designer, you're your own producer, you're the whole package now, right?
Well, the way I've always kind of seen it is like, what is the main reason people go out? Not the music, not the drinking. It's to interact with people and meet with people. So if you're kind of forgetting that as you go out and you're not networking and like meeting new friends, you're not really doing it right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it sucks to say, like, I wish it were just about the music, but like, it is ultimately about going out and meeting people.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. Yeah, I would say it's a bit of both. I love going out and meeting new people. But if I'm going out to an event, I'm probably going because there's someone there I really want to see.
Absolutely.
Or hear, right?
For sure.
But as soon as I'm there, I want to meet new people and get out. And
you don't want to just stand in the corner and be like the guy in the chair, like, who's that shadowy character?
Exactly. Back in the day, again, you know, I'm an old fogey from the rave days in the like early 90s in England. You know, there'd always be a few of us that you'd be in the group, you'd all go to the party together, but there'd be the odd people, more than a few, that you just go off and you go and make friends.
Absolutely.
Right? And at the end of the party, everyone meets back up and you're like, hey, look, I've just met this people. And you got 4 people. And they got 3 people.
There you go. And now there's 7 people or 8 people. You know what I mean?
Networking, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's part of the party.
Well, like a lot of the Leave Us Lost parties, like at a certain point, I just stopped going with people. I would just show up by myself.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, I know everyone there.
Exactly. You know you're going to bump into someone.
And like my friends will be there eventually. And then that way I'm like, I could leave whenever I want. I didn't have to be like, I got to wait for this person to say bye to 70 people and this person to say bye to 70 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's like, I'm going to ghost out, you know? Great party. Thanks for having me. But it's time for me to get out of there.
I did a little bit of digging on your history of like where you've been, like on your Instagram and stuff, and I see Adam Port and Rampo, like you saw them at a show. Was that here in Vancouver?
Yes, that was.
And
here
was that kind of like some of the inspiration that came in from them guys?
So basically, I think the Adam Port and Rampa show we did at Gorg-O-Mish with Leave Us Lost, or not Leave Us Lost, U+1.
Okay.
And that was back in the day. And
I'm reeling it back a bit there. Sorry, but
So for me personally, my style of music that I've gotten into in the last maybe couple of years is a little bit more minimal than that. But I also like all sorts of music because, especially if you're playing all these different shows, not all of them are the same style. Especially you're opening for somebody, like minimal may not work for that or whatever. So I like to diversify on my personal, like where I'm DJing, I like to kind of make it specific for that place. Like if I'm playing at Gorg-O-Mish, dark, keep it going. And especially if you're playing the later slot, I play songs with a little bit more energy, but I bring it down. I slow it down a little bit because it's later at night. You're going to keep people there longer. If you're just
pounding it out still. They're done.
You're gonna start killing the dance floor at a certain time, right?
Yeah.
But Adam Port, Rampa, I like their music, the whole kind of music, kind of label. I like those
the kind
guys.
of music is it called? Yeah, I think that sort of music is fucking wicked.
Oh yeah, honestly, I think a lot of people making music are just
they were good back in that time. They're still good now, but back then they were like the highlight of a lot of that music back in like 2014.
Oh yeah, they were killing it. They still kind of are killing it. But Adam Port is amazing.
Yeah,
and like actually, I hung out with them for the day after they played, before we took them to the airport, and just nice guys. They were just kind of like tourists. They're like, oh, I want to take a picture of this. Like awesome. Down to earth, like not like no egos or anything. They were really just cool.
Because I've seen you actually supported a lot of famous people like Huxley, Koyu.
Oh yeah,
there's obviously quite a few names that you've obviously supported. Like, how is it supporting them at them different events? Like,
it's good. I actually prefer opening, because I get to play a little bit differently. Like my main gig was always Gorg-O-Mish, and that was like, I'd always, because I worked at venue, I would play the later slot because I could work and then get off work and then come play the later slot. And luckily, Graham and Amy always were cool with that, and that really helped me out. And but yeah, opening is like different. It's like a fine wine kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, me and Craig were talking about opening just before, weren't we? Mm-hmm. Like with regards to open up a set, how you got to start the crowd, to obviously build it up for the next guy. I mean, because you technically are building up for the main act, right? You've
absolutely.
Got to kind of structure it really well.
What I always try to do for an opening set is like, start chill. People are showing up. People don't want to walk into like boom, boom, boom. They want to walk into like, oh, this is nice. Let's grab a drink. Yeah. Let's sit here for a sec while everyone starts funneling in, and then all of a sudden they'll start dancing. And you pick it up, and then I try to like bring it to the point of where it's like, okay, this is gonna start rocking, and then like maybe the last 10 minutes start bringing it back down, so that the other DJ can go, okay, he's like, it's dropped down, he can just build it right back up from there. He doesn't have to do this, or like, oh, I'm killing it too much, so he's got to kind of like let everyone know that he's the one that's on now. And I just like, okay, if you just build them up, they're getting ready, drop, like bring it back down, the tension, give them the tension, headliner goes on.
We were actually just talking about this before you turned up today, and that was again the whole journey of doing a set. If you get enough time, you can do those peaks and valleys.
Absolutely,
you really can. And again, if you're doing what you're doing, when you hand over, exactly what you said, you almost want to just bring it back down that little bit for the next guy.
Yeah, it's like a little handshake.
A little handshake,
There you go.
Yeah.
They're ready for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, unless it's a DJ who's a buddy and you don't really like him that much and you're messing with him, then you just build it right up and you lose a real shitty track to mix into at the end, and you're like, there you go, bro.
Loser.
Yeah, good luck with that one. See you later.
Yeah. Have fun. Yeah.
I'm sort of going to sidetrack totally away from that, but little-ish. But so when you started off, what was the first sort of equipment you started on? It's a totally different thing.
For DJ?
Yeah, for DJ.
They were Pioneer 850s, the first ones that took the USB, I believe. Yeah. And they were like silver ones, not like they were like the normal size CDJs, but they were fun. They worked. Their little screen was very like it's archaic technology. It looks like an old school calculator with the tape on the end. Yeah. But started on those, and a buddy and I kind of bought those together, mainly him, but he didn't really have a place to keep them, so they were always kind of in my garage. Perfect. So I'd come home from work and I would just play, and I'd call him like, hey, you gonna come over and like practice have a jam? DJing? Yeah. He very rarely came over.
I'm too busy. Yours
and
is
then,
mine.
And then my DJ career started going. I started getting local gigs around Langley and trying to get stuff downtown, and he just kind of didn't pursue it as much. But
you still have them?
No, I think he took them back when I moved downtown. I was like, here, like I don't even know where I'm gonna be living when I moved downtown, so take these. And then I think he got rid of them. I think he sold them, but I'm not too sure. And
And you still have a setup at home now?
I don't.
No, you don't.
I don't. I have actually a pair of those guys, the little 200s, but I
go
don't.
to my main camera there. Just
Oh yeah,
200s, right?
Yeah. Got the 200s at home, but they're not set up. But like I said, I worked at venue and I was there during the day a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and
so you
some of the times
there.
I'm just waiting for people to deliver things.
Yeah.
So I would just go on the decks and just kind of
Awesome.
DJ, and it's kind of to the point of like where it's kind of like riding a bike, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit sloppy if you haven't done it in a while, but you don't really forget.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
No, I think I had the 800s.
Oh,
I bought,
nice.
yeah, the 800 Mark 1s.
Oh, nice.
So they were proper CD. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like,
well, that was the funny
know.
thing. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Good,
that was
yeah.
the funny thing. We were using CDs. We were flying through CDs, like burning this. And then I was like, what's this USB slot for? And I like go and search up on the internet. I'm like, dude, we can just put music on USBs. And everybody's like, no, we can't. I was like, yeah, we can. We got to download this little record box program. And he's like, no way. He's like, way better than, yeah.
But that was like, man, it's mad how it's gone through the times, because you were carrying cases for your vinyl, and then I was carrying a big CD case, and now it's like
a USB
DJs
stick.
have just 2 USB sticks or one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like 6,000 tracks on here, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I try to do like a new USB every year, and then like I'll go through my whole last year, and I'll just pick songs that I'm really still feeling or I know will work for me. Mm-hmm. And then I'll put that as like, hey, this is the old stuff. And then every time I do like a new set, I try to be pretty organized. I'm like, this is the date, this is where I'm playing, and I'll put all my new songs onto that, and that'll be my new playlist. And then if something's not in key, I go back to the old songs to just try to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so actually that's, almost brings me on to something I was going to ask anyway. So when you're planning some of your sets, right? So you're building your crates. Mm-hmm. Do you plan very much a set, or do you play loose where you just kind of like wing it here and there?
I play by the seat of my pants.
Yes,
I know there's like, I make a playlist.
Yeah.
I know there's certain songs that
That
I really want to play.
Yeah.
But it's really like you got to read the crowd, and reading the crowd is like one of the best skills a DJ can have, is like, because if you play a song, you've got your whole set planned out, and you play a song
and it just drops,
and
they hate it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you're scrambling. But if you're going and you like play a song, you're like, okay, they're not really feeling those types of songs with the long breakdowns, or you know what I mean?
And you just now you can go back through your list, and then
absolutely,
So
I totally respect that, mate, because I think that is the art of being a DJ, isn't it? I think again, like going back to supporting big artists, I think that's again reading the crowd. You're doing the thing for the big artists, and that's going to get you noticed more. I think, because
100%.
the big guys are going to see, hey man, he's set me up pretty good. He hasn't, fucked me over, and and you fucking plan it out, and that's fucking. I respect that a lot. Yeah.
Well, especially if you're opening for somebody, not to put any of their songs in your playlist. That'll get you off the stage almost instantly. Yeah, they're like, hey, like, it's his song.
And you don't want to play any of the big bangers of the time, even if it's not theirs. You don't want to be in that warm up set. You don't want to be dropping like the big ones. Yeah. Why would you?
Absolutely.
That's coming later.
Yeah.
And
luckily, like, a lot of the events that happen in Vancouver, like, they always throw an after party. And so sometimes if you're the opener, you get asked to play the after party. So why would you? It's like,
waste those then.
Save your hits for later.
Save the gems for
and
later.
Then, like, when it comes to like Beatport or wherever you get your music, I try to stick away from the top 100. Because like there's 750,000 DJs in Vancouver.
They all have that,
and they're like, at least some of them are going through that top 100. So my job is to search for new music, show people new music, as well as play
some of the stuff
they know. But like if everyone's 100%. Playing the top 100, like, just take a couple hours out of your day, search a little bit deeper
for something different that they might not have heard that's about to break. Again, we've talked about this before, that when I started on vinyl, didn't even have Technics, had one turntable that had a pitch belt drive, the other one didn't.
It's one of those old turntables with the big horn.
I'm not quite that old. I'm not that old, Jared, but
you gotta wind it up. Yeah.
And there was a little Jack Russell sat in front of it. Isn't that the picture?
With the HMV. Yeah, record store in the UK. Yeah, man.
Nah, actually, yeah, it was kind of close to that, but not really. But anyway, yeah. So then, belt drives, got Technics, right?
Yeah.
Sold those. Kind of moved over here. Didn't buy any more turntables. Got into controllers. When controllers first came out, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just need my MacBook.
That's all you need.
And I have this little thing. And I can have all my list of music. So I went through a few of those. And then I was like, I bought all my vinyl with me from England. Right?
That must have been expensive.
I paid to move quite a bit of stuff anyway. So it was all part of the parcel.
Perfect.
Right? It's kind of the main reason I moved it. But yeah, so I ended up going back to turntables, and then I did the digital vinyl, right? So you can still use all your
with
MP3s.
the Serato,
With the Serato, yeah. But then I started playing the vinyl again, and I was just like, just the sound for me. Like,
it's crisp.
It's really crisp. It's crisp, and, you know, I think, you know, each to their own. We've talked about before on a couple of shows, right? Each their own. I don't care how you play the music to the crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
But as long as you play the music to the crowd. I'm the same. I'm the same way. As it doesn't matter how you play or what you play on, as long as you can keep the crowd dancing.
Absolutely.
And read it.
And read the crowd.
Absolutely.
And know when to, especially when you're playing at one of the clubs, know when to send people to the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to play, I've been rocking it out for 30 minutes straight. Maybe you just play a little chill song that maybe not everyone's going to fill. Send them to the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
I used to be real kind of almost selfish. I played what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right? When I first started playing out in our little pubs and clubs, I never played anywhere big, never did any big shows at all, mate, at all, just did local stuff. But I played what I wanted, and it took me a while to realise, well, that's not really what they want.
Yeah.
Right? They want a bit of this too. I can play some of this, just like you said. I can throw in some of this stuff that I've gone and found and sourced.
Yeah.
That's a bit different that you haven't heard yet. Right? But you might do in a bit.
Yeah, but you gotta.
But I've still got to give you some of that.
Absolutely.
Right? So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, man. So I see you've actually been buying a bit of vinyl. You've been.
I have.
You've been dipping into the vinyl.
Oh, good boy.
Yeah. So I've kind of always liked vinyl. I've had before electronic music, I had some just random obscure vinyls, which I kind of still hold on to because I want to get a technique for my studio and actually record some of this old obscure non-electronic music
and sample it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Build a beat and then actually just, instead of bringing the sample into Ableton and warping it, just pitch it in time. And I feel like you're going to get so many more or less artifacts, and it's just going to be a lot nicer. And just, if you can actually just pitch it recording right in time with your beat, then so that's kind of my next little thing for the studio.
So, I don't want to cut you off because I just asked that question. But if you're going to buy a Technics, now I'm going to really geek out. What model are you going to get?
Honestly, I don't know enough about them to.
Because
Craig's a bit of a vinyl guru, I must
say. We might have to have a little chat later. And you buy this one.
I don't want you to buy the Mark 7. Don't buy the Mark 7.
Okay, duly noted.
Yeah.
Don't. You just send me a message in 2 weeks. Don't buy the Mark 7.
Don't buy the Mark 7. Because Craig, you recently bought the 1210 Mark 2s.
The Mark 2s, the Mark 2s are the old tanks.
Nice. Those are the good ones.
They're the best, I think.
They are the best, and you can find them, use them. We've done a little show on these too, right? Where I was like, you don't really need them because you don't. You can mix on other turntables, no problem if you know what you're doing. Yeah. But for sound and quality and build, and for what Technics have done over the years, for me personally, and I think a lot of people will say it, the Mark II is just, it's the one. It's the tank.
That's the
one. It's worth spending the money on a used one.
Yeah.
Right. And again, a Mark 7. We talked about this. It's like $1,300 right now for a Mark 7.
Yeah,
brand new.
I think so for one.
For one, yeah.
It's balling out of control.
It's a lot of money, yeah. I mean, we're saying that the 3,000s right now. How much are they?
Yeah, $3,000 or something.
Too much. That's why I don't know a setup. I was like,
isn't it insane, the cost of those things?
Way too much.
Oh, mate,
Do you think there's much difference between the 2,000s to the 3,000s?
I've used the 3,000s recently this summer, and if I had some more time with them, I think I would like them more. I accidentally pressed I think it was the pause button or the Q button on the wrong deck, because they had it set up like usually like 1 and 3 or 1 and 4 or 2 and 4, you know, separate them, but they had it on like 3 and 4. So I was like, okay, and I accidentally pressed the wrong thing. I had a couple drinks, so I was like, and the 3,000 saved me. They like, because it queued and then it had like a save thing that goes back to right where it was, and I was like,
beat loop.
It wasn't a beat loop. It was just like kind of like, because it queued and it stopped the music. I was like, oh shit. And then I was like, dude, just looking for buttons, and it was like go back or something, and it just went boom, and it brought the song straight back where it was. And I was like,
wow,
whoa. I'm like, I like these things, you know. It's like a save point in a video game. You're like, whoo.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
That's pretty much the modern day picking up the wrong needle off the wrong turntable.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Oh shit, where was I?
Which I've done quite a lot of times in the past.
Oh yeah. You know what? It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 2 years or 20 years. You're gonna mess up at some point. You know,
and that's part of the party.
It's all in how you handle it.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're train wrecking and you go, oh, and just drag the other song out, people are going to be like, what? But if you actually go and fix it, people are going to be like, okay, good. You messed up. You knew you messed up. You fixed it, and you didn't just give up on it.
Absolutely.
That's like one of the biggest things is like, if you just go and actually fix it, people will like be more impressed than if you're just like, oh,
for sure.
Yeah.
And then you see videos online of people like DJs. You do see like one deck's cut out, like for a big artist, and they've just brought it back, and everyone doesn't really cheer. They just go, "Yeah, thanks, man. Like, there you go.
You're earning your money today." Yeah.
Oh, we're glad to pay for this ticket now.
Yeah.
So going on venues in Vancouver, then, like, what venues have you played in Vancouver, and which one stood out to you the most?
So I've played MIA. I played Shine, which is the old MIA, or like was what MIA is now. Gorg-O-Mish, Red Room, Caprice, Venue, Celebrities, Gorg-O-Mish, which is my favorite place to play in the city.
We like Gorg-O-Mish.
Open Studios, which was another one of my favorite. That's like my favorite regular hours place, and then Gorg's my favorite after hours place, and all sorts of random little events. You know, the Waldorf, the Leave Us Lost parties, and the
that's a great little place.
And, there's just so many that like. No, actually, the only place I feel that I haven't played in Vancouver that I really want to play is the Commodore. I just want like, because that's where I went to my first rave with Bloody Beetroots, and I was like,
really,
you know, so I was like, I feel like that's kind of like my last thing I really want to do.
That's a great
in
venue
Vancouver
too.
is play the Commodore.
That's a great venue.
Yeah, the Commodore. Where's that? Sorry,
it's on Granville. It's like a big live events place. Like I've seen like concerts there. I've seen comedians there, raves. You know, they do all sorts of things there, and it's actually just like. The floor starts when you get enough people and they're all going. It bounces, and it's just so cool.
Yeah, it's a bouncing floor.
Cool.
Yeah. So
cool. Imagine having a few drinks. You're like, this feels even worse. It's
it happens. It happens. Is this the floor or me?
Yeah. Me and Craig, we went to Gorg-O-Mish, and the sound system there. I think we say every episode.
We have said this every episode.
The sound system is just peaches.
The honeycomb wall.
Yeah.
Like I walk in. First thing I do if I'm playing or if I'm just there is I just go up and touch the wall.
It's amazing. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Such a nice sound.
It's so clean. Nice. They got
so
it clean and like.
Right.
I just like it there. You know, if you're going to play there, people are just there for the music.
I've been in there once.
Yeah,
but it was great.
It's awesome,
right?
Yeah. No, I've really liked Gorg-O-Mish, and I've never been to MIA. I've never been to Celebrities, but I find Celebrities and MIA more of a. I don't know them, but accommodate more of a bass house EDM-y kind of feel.
Yeah, that's and you know that comes with the whole like table service kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, right? Playing to the crowd.
You're playing to the crowd.
You're playing
right?
to the crowd that you.
So every once in a while, they do like some really cool, or they did do some really cool shows there. I'm not sure what it's.
Yeah,
I've kind of been since COVID. I've kind of been out of the scene. Like I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm more of a sit at my desk kind of guy right now. Yeah. But no, Celebrities is good. Found with it's a little bit rattly sometimes because there's some of the things that are like plastic, like vinyl. Walls,
really.
And it rattles a little bit, but
the sub.
it sounds good in there. It's nice.
Yeah.
I personally liked Venue. I know I worked there, so I'm kind of like
biased.
But they had the Meyer line array there, and like working there, I got to see some cool bands. Like I got to work when Goldie was playing, and
cool.
like
that would be
Goldie.
It was awesome. It was one of the only shifts I asked to work. I was like, I want to work this one. So he's like, put me in the back where he knew like not a lot of people would be buying drinks and stuff, and I'm just there dancing. And there was a point where Goldie like rewinds and he's like, yo, Vancouver, you know you're killing it when the DJ or the bartender in the back's killing it. And everyone like looks at me and I'm just like, because I love drum and bass. I don't think I could ever play drum and bass just because. But listening to it for me, I love it's just...
Couldn't play it as in... Wouldn't want to play it out to people.
Wouldn't want to play it. Like, it's not really my style, but like, it's... I would love to go to any drum and bass show because it's just...
It's
I love the drums.
It's an exciting genre. I remember when it all first kind of came out, and we were actually talking about mixing it earlier, literally before you turned up.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation about it's similar to hip-hop and breakbeat.
Raggadub,
It's cutting and chopping.
Oh yeah,
right.
Which I love to throw like some chops and stuff into my sets and stuff. You know, when you've got your songs lined up and they're perfect and they're kind of like locked, might as well play with it a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
Are you? Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Are you like a full track?
I was just going to ask the same thing.
Like a full track kind of mixing guy.
Yeah.
Or do you do like 130s or do you? Yeah.
I like to play the whole song out. You know what I mean? And like, if there's a song that's not really doing it, you know, maybe layer it up. But I like to, you know,
pretty much play the whole track.
You know, the 2 minutes in, 2 minutes at the end. Those are where you mix out. And like, if you're mixing out of your songs quickly, you're really not doing your songs justice, and you might not be picking your songs properly if you have to do that. You know what I mean? So maybe as like a DJ, that's when you step back and you're like, because I think like somebody made that song. You should be, if you're picking that song to play, you should play out the whole thing because it's telling a story.
I think it depends on the genre of the music somewhat.
Yeah.
Because again, talking back to like drum and bass and hip hop.
Yeah.
That's breakbeat.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's only so many elements.
Yeah.
And you can literally do, like we talked about, I think it was DJ Rap. Female drum and bass DJ from England. She used to say back in the day she was pretty much ready to mix out the next track in like 8 to whatever bars.
Yeah.
Like she had it down. Next. Probably wasn't 8 bars. I'm probably totally exaggerating that one, but she was about doing, you know, there's only so much of this and so much of that.
Absolutely.
But when you come to house and things like that, I'll play like a 7-minute track.
Yeah.
If it's all relevant.
Sometimes I'll play an 11-minute song.
Right.
Those are called bathroom songs.
Yeah, that's your bathroom.
Yeah,
you know. 100%.
Time for a piss.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and pass the bar and get another beer before you go back.
Absolutely. You know, and that, but yeah, I like playing some longer songs, especially like as I'm getting more into like that minimal sound. It's like, because you kind of like, you're going to layer the songs anyway, right? Yeah. So I've had songs I played at Gorg this one time, and I played it almost every time I played at Gorg since I found it. I was like, I love this song. So I started like, it was a little bit of a longer song, so I started just layering it because I was playing it so often. I was like kind of figured out how to work it.
Just bring in bits in every now and again.
And well, there's like this one melody that's in it, and it's just captivating, at least for me. And, you know, I might just be in my own head there, but
yeah.
And I would just start layering another song on it because it was quite beautiful, and so I would like put another song that's a little bit more aggressive and stuff. And so like everyone's like, oh, I know this song, and they're like, oh, you found a new version. It's like, no, I'm just kind of I'm doing that on the fly, you know. And I had it looped, and I would play another song, And then as that song would finish, great thing about Gorg, they have 3 decks. So you can have one looping, play another song, and mix out of that song while still having that little...
I was literally just going to say, if you got the 3 decks right there, you use that one deck. And again, we were just talking about this. I used to have a few bits that were instrumentals.
Yep.
Or that, melody kind of thing, ambience, whatever, that I would leave on that third one that you could bring in over so many tracks and keep doing it through a set.
And make like an ultimate, like an overall motif for your entire set.
Yeah.
Just based on that one.
And you'd have a few of them that you could do through a set that you would bring back in and out every now and again.
Absolutely. That's
right.
That's the dream.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Do Gorg-O-Mish have any vinyl decks there?
I didn't see them when I was there.
Actually. They don't have them out regularly, but if you ask for them, they will.
Yeah.
Bring them out. Because I know, like, my friend Starla, she runs Sound Trade.
That's Starla Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I see her on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
I try and follow as many Vancouver DJs, obviously, as much as I can. Yeah.
No, she's the best, but she throws a lot of like more minimal shows. That's kind of where I like if I open for one of her events. That's kind of where I save more of my minimal stuff for.
Yeah.
But she always brings vinyls to her events or like turntables. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to have them there and. I usually my vinyls are kind of for me, so I never bring them out. I remember I played a back-to-back with Jay, and he's like, "Bring your vinyls," and I was like, "Okay," and I didn't play any of them. I was like, I just lugged these around for no reason. So
just do a back-to-back session with Craig. I mean, Craig's got a big wall of vinyl.
Invite me out. I'll come to a.
Yeah, that'd be
fun. I'll bring my vinyls out. We'll just hang out, have a few beers.
We could set the cameras up and do a little.
Absolutely.
little jam, yeah. So kind of backpedaling a little bit onto the where you've played. Yep. I see you played in Hawaii.
Yep.
And you played for like Cascadia? Cascadia.
Yeah.
That's it. And how is it? Like, how did you get the gig abroad? So obviously this is not in Vancouver now. So like, how did you get them sort of?
A lot of my gigs that are out of town were like helped with friends. So like Jay Tripwire, I went and played in New York, and he helped me set up a few gigs there. So I opened up for him and Halo Varga at the Panther Room at the old Output in New York. I did like an after party for one of the City Fox events that it was kind of his set, but he was like, I kind of booked this set knowing full well that I'm going to Denver. So he's like slid it to me, and then the Hawaii gig was through Ben Anand. He's I think originally from LA, but he lives in Oregon now. And he was just getting all people from the West Coast. So like a group from Vancouver, a group from Seattle, a group from Portland, a group from LA. Cool. And we kind of all just met for this event. And Jay was there for that. And also Mike McSwade from Vancouver. And yeah, we went and just had a good time in Hawaii, played some music, got to meet other people. And that's actually how I got the Cascadia gig, is because I met Michael Manahan, who throws those. And he's from Seattle. I think he lives in Portland now. But and cool. Then I just kind of, he's like an older guy in the scene, been around forever, and great music selection, and we kind of just got along. I feel like I get along better with like the guys older in the scene than I do like the newer, younger guys.
Yeah.
Which is, I like it because I like learning more about where we came from, and then I can kind of know where we're going. Right?
Yeah.
And
that's cool, man. How was the crowd like in Hawaii?
Hawaii, it was awesome. Everyone was like there for the music.
Was it American tourists, locals, good mix?
Everyone kind of brought a group from their city, and it was like a little festival.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
cool,
and
cool,
it was up on the small island Kauai.
Gotcha.
And we're
so
up
it was
on the
more
top of
like
a mountain.
A group rather than like an event that was to the public.
Yeah,
oh,
and like I think
cool.
most of the proceeds of that go to charity.
Nice,
so,
perfect, man.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
And it was nice.
That'd be fun.
They pay for the flight, so I was like, I'll go to Hawaii.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Really? You want me to play some music?
Yeah, not a problem. Anything for you
I
guys.
don't know. That sounds a bit shitty.
I don't know. Yeah. But no, it was good. And then from there, I've just made like friends through the scene. Like I said, you go out and you make friends and you network, and that's how I also got more gigs in Seattle through meeting people. Where else have I played? El Salvador. I got that through a buddy.
Salvador, right?
Yeah, Andromo. He's lives here now. He's from El Salvador originally, but that's who I kind of do my Rainforest music with. That's his label.
Yeah,
so I help him out with that. We do some remixes and originals there. And so he hooked that up. We gone a couple times. We also did another one.
Sorry, how was that out there with the crowd out there?
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Because they don't like the breakdowns as much, so you can just play nice, loopy, hard stuff, you know, and then give them a breakdown once in a while, and they're like, okay. And they'll break down, and then boom, just back to loopy stuff, you know, and it was good. And then we did another time in El Salvador where we drove to Guatemala and played in Guatemala. He set that up, and yeah,
you're well traveled, mate.
I'm getting there, you know. I appreciate everything I've been given. So
yeah, no, that's so cool. You know? Super cool.
Like with the Rainforest thing, you did a radio show for Rainforest? Did you do a mix or something?
I did a mix for Rainforest Music. It's on my SoundCloud. It's under the mixes playlist. But freaking. I like Rainforest music. I like Alejandro's his real name, not Andromo. But I produced music with him, and we just he's kind of got his idea that he wants for the label, and then every once in a while he'll ask me for a remix, or I'll go over and we'll have a few beers, make some dinner, and just work on a new track, or he'll come to my studio, work on a track.
Yeah, cool.
And so
But actually, as soon as you just brought it up, let's start talking about producing.
Okay, let's do it.
So it's about studio stuff.
In studios, yeah.
So I sent you guys that video yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that little clip. Yeah.
Yeah, when you saw that video, I was like, it's got some gear in there, man.
Yeah, it's nice. I just recently actually started renting that studio with. I got two studio partners, Adam Biggs and John Hardy, and so we kind of go in there. We all take our own turns and work on music, and then John and I work on music a lot together. I brought my old tower in from making music because I've switched to a laptop, but that thing's got over like 300 unfinished songs in it.
Wow.
So I'm literally just like, hey John, like here, like go through it, and it was like, if you like something, work on it.
300 songs.
300?
When did you start? So when did you start on that tower? When did those 300 songs
2013.
start? 2013, like straight up back
and
then.
like they're not all of them are like arranged out, but they're like grooves.
Yeah.
And like I'm really good at writing grooves. Finishing songs is like my arch nemesis, because I get so bored of it, because I like go over things with a fine-tooth comb, right? I'm like fixing this, and then you're like, I hate this song. You know, I've heard it so many times. I hate it. I want to go on to something new. So it's like I've just done that for so many years. I really need to like get down to the actual just finishing songs. If I have a deadline and like I'm doing a remix for somebody, or they want an original, like I send them one of my grooves and like, hey, we want this. Give me a deadline, I'll finish it. But if it's just me dabbling around,
yeah,
I can't do it. That was kind of one of the reasons I wanted to get into the studio, because I'm paying for the studio. It's no longer at my house. So I'm going there. It's kind of like clocking in at work, clocking out. I'm doing the work. And the fact that I'm paying the rent of the studio, I need to be doing work to justify the fact that I'm spending this extra money.
Yeah.
I mean, you said 300. I was like, holy shit, I've got like 10 on my Mac.
Oh, yeah.
I'm finished. But I know what you're saying. When I get to 8%, I'm like, yeah, I hate this song now. Yeah. But then like, me and Craig have said this and talked about this before. When I'll listen back to the one song that I hated 3 months later, and I'm like, man, this is a fucking banger. But I hated it at the time, right? And I think a lot of people suffer from that. Is it producer block? Most people call it, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really mixing and mastering down.
A lot of it, what it is like, you may not hear it, but some of your elements are just out of key. I've learned this recently with working with John. It's like you go in and it's like, yeah, you may be pressing the key of A, and it's not coming out as A. So you got to kind of go do some fine tuning. And it's like, that's why it's so hard to get past some of those points, is because you don't know what to write, because there's a couple things in your song that are not in key with the rest of your song that are preventing you from being able to write the next thing. Because it's like, yeah, I like this element, it's slightly out of key. So when you try to write the new thing, you're like, this sounds out of key even though I'm playing the right key, right?
Yeah.
So you got to like be able to go and actually like make your songs right, and like spend the time and do it. Which, another thing you were saying, you go back to your your songs is like, that's what I've told people to do. Like when they come and sit down, they're like, oh, I'm having trouble with this. I was like, leave it, go on to something new, come back in a month and remix the song.
Yeah.
Even if you have to, bounce all the stems out. And then it's like somebody has sent you a remix project with the stems. And then that way you're not fiddling with the old synths and doing this, and then it becomes something else, and then all of a sudden it sucks, and then you're like, okay, it doesn't even work. Now you went from having this groove that's nice and banging and you can do something with, to going like, I overproduced it, or I tried too hard. Where it's like, music should be easy. Like you should be able to, like at a certain point, you know, like you should be able to, like once you master whatever DAW you're using, Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, Reason, you know, a ukulele with 3 strings or whatever. You know, I tell people all the time that music production is kind of like learning the guitar. You know, 20 minutes a day is better than 3 hours on the weekend.
Yeah.
Because if you're going 3 hours on the weekend, you're like, this is all the time I got. You go make a song, and then you're gonna forget everything.
You're gonna forget everything you just did. Yeah, absolutely.
Like even if you go and you do 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, and you get like you delete it at the end, you're still 20 minutes a day. You're like, boom, 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 and you're mastering your craft. Whereas like 3 hours there to get to 10,000 hours to master your thing, it's gonna be hard to do that.
Yeah, and I think as well, like you say, when you've got a load of tracks, and you bounce your stems out the tracks, you know, you can say, well, this one track I worked on a kick that will really work with this other track, with the lead on this track.
Yeah.
And you can be like, I can take that from that. And it's kind of like you've actually bought your own samples from your own tracks. And you're like,
absolutely,
let's make a fucking real good track. And it might work one day.
My studio partner, John, does that all the time, because he goes through, he'll just be like, okay, go to a next project on my tower, and he'll just be like, oh, he's like, this little riff right here would sound really good on that other song, where I'm like, hey, those are my babies, like don't like you can't do that. And he'll go, and then I'm like, you're absolutely right, this is like, you know, may not be the right sound, but it's the right groove, it's the right rhythm, it's the right thing. So like for me, like I love DJing, but production's kind of where I get, you know, that's my thing. I really like producing, and to be able to play my own songs out in between, like, you know, like you were saying, Adam Port and Rampa, to be able to play one of my songs in between an Adam Port and a Rampa song, and it goes off just the same, that's like, great for me, that's better than DJing a perfect set and everyone's like, oh,
yeah.
So how did you get into production then? Like, where did it all start? What program did you work with? Like, did you learn any instruments?
I was going to ask that too. What software?
I've dabbled in guitar. When I went to music production, or school for music production, they taught you how to play the piano, or at least basic music theory. I'm not the best at guitar, but I can, you know, dabble. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. You know, I don't know. I don't play that.
You can sit around the campfire and piss everyone off.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to.
Serenade a lady or a guy.
But basically, like I said earlier, when I was going to raves, I started DJing, and I kind of got this thought in my head very quickly that it was like, yeah, I can be a good DJ, but it's like, I'm not really going anywhere unless I learn how to produce music. And so I got a crack of Ableton, and I was like,
so Ableton is what do you still use Ableton now?
I still use Ableton. So I started on Ableton, and like I said, I was horrible, like just awful. And so I was like, okay, I think I may need to go to school and like learn what sound engineering is and do that. So I went to school, and they taught me Logic and Pro Tools there. So basic, like Pro Tools, like for more like recording bands and stuff, but the Logic kind of transferred back to Ableton. I'm a PC guy. I hate almost anything Apple, like with a passion. So when I got out of school, obviously Logic is an Apple product, so I went to Ableton. I had a buddy that I went to school with, Ivan Snedden. I believe his DJ name is DJ Dronus. And I gave him kind of like lessons on how to DJ, and he gave me lessons on Ableton. We kind of traded those skills back and forth, and from there I just started making music with Ableton. I got back into it. I was like, sweet, perfect.
Nice.
And I haven't really looked back. I like Ableton. Ableton's easy, quick. It's PC, and but like I also like, you know, if you want to use Logic, I'm not going to tell you not to use Logic, because it's like I said, guitars, like if you like Fenders and I like Gibsons,
yeah,
like,
it's the same.
It's what gets you your sound, and what works best for you.
Yeah,
what's comfortable.
What's comfortable for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, that's what any bit of hardware or any bit of equipment, ultimately, that's what it is. What you like and
absolutely
what works for you, what you like the sound
of, and it makes your sound.
Yeah,
and like you really need to like get that. Like I'm finally, like maybe in the last couple of years, finally making music that sounds like the music I play.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. So
yeah.
I'm getting my sound, which is cool. Which is, you know, it's not going to stay at that. It's always going to evolve, and it's always going to become more. Because I find inspiration everywhere when it comes to music. You know, like a car going by, and it's like there's a little beep here, and then the car is going by, and I was like, I just got an idea for crazy like groove or something. You know what I mean? So
yeah. With regards to your studio, what equipment do you have in there? Like, could you reel off the equipment that you have in there? Because I noticed in the video, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, oh no.
I noticed you had a Moog in there.
Yes, so the Moog is my studio partner John's. So for me personally, I'm more of an in-the-box kind of guy. I've learned Ableton enough that like I can do most anything with Ableton.
Yeah.
And then I have a Drum Brute Impact that is mine. I have an Ableton Push. I have 2 guitars, my amps, a couple microphones. John, on the one side of the studio, has lots. Like he has the Moog, he has a Odyssey, just so many things with buttons and stuff. And then Adam on the other side has a whole different variety of things, which I have access to, but I don't use it because I've made it that like this is how I make music and this is the easiest way for me. Like, don't get me wrong, like if they got it all set up and it's running properly, but I'll jump on it and I'll figure out how to work it. But it's like the routing for me. I hate routing stuff, and then it's like, well, this is how it's supposed to be routed, and it's not. I'm not getting any audio, and then it's like you flip the whole desk and you go out for a coffee. You know what I mean? Whereas like Ableton, you know, I can just pump it in and just go and make it. And
so do you guys kind of like rent the space together?
Yeah, the 3 of us, we rent the space together, and we split it 3 ways, the studio. And then Adam just recently had a kid, so he doesn't get into the studio as much as us. So we kind of call him the ambulance, and he's like, if he wants the studio, he gets it, because he's like usually never there. John's there almost every day. Like we have like a security system in there, and like it comes to we get notifications on our phone, and it'll be like 9:30 in the morning. It'd be like, John has set the security to home, and I'm like, classic, right on the dot, 9:30 every day.
Yeah. And you don't plan, you don't have like a timetable, this is my time, this is your time.
We have like a little group chat that we kind of just like, hey, like
I'm popping in, is this cool?
Yeah, usually just John's always there, so it's like we just kind of check in with John, and then I work with John a lot, so I kind of just go in when he's there.
Yeah, cool.
And we've got it set up that like we work together on projects. We have projects we're working on together. We have projects that are for myself solo, and projects that are for him solo.
Cool.
And you know, I help out on his projects, and he helps out a lot more on my projects. But you know, awesome. and we work together to kind of just make sure we both kind of succeed in our doing. Cool. We recently I got asked to do a remix from a label from LA called Wolfpack. And so I got John. This was right as I moved into the studio. They asked me to do this, so I was like, hey John, you want to work on this with me? And then it'd be a good start to us being studio partners.
Yeah, like a little collab together.
That came out a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, I think.
How did all the remixing come about? Like, when did that start? Remixing other people's music, like, you know.
It's just
were you approached, or do you?
Yeah, I try not to approach anyone for anything where it's like, hey, like whether it's a gig or a remix, or I try not to do that. It's kind of cringy to me to be like, hey, can I have this gig? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like they've already got someone in mind to do that, but it's comes back to just that networking and people like, hey, we saw that you released this. A lot of it, my stuff has come from me releasing on other labels, whether it's a remix or this. They reach out to me and they go on SoundCloud or whatever. Hey, we heard this. We'd love for you to do a remix. And then I was like, hey, yeah, let me know. Like, I've got some free time.
Cool.
They send me, you know, a couple songs that are on the release, and I just pick one, and yeah, that's kind of how the remixes all go.
Yeah.
So
what's your future plans then with releases, gigs coming up for the future? Yeah.
So right now, John and I kind of have bought a little whiteboard for the studio so we can write down some ideas. This is kind of my plan. This is what I want to do, and he liked the idea. I want to do an EP together, just the both of us, whether it's John and Jared or we come up with some crazy alias.
Cool name.
Yeah, we do that. I want to make sure he gets a solo project done, so I'll also help him with that. And then I've got a solo project that I want to get done, another EP, so he helps out with that. And we just we got 3 projects that we just kind of want to get done, and we help each other get them done. And it's nice, you know. It's like, because it's me sitting there making my music, him sitting there making his music, but then he'll also come in and be like, hey, this kind of sounds a little out of whack, so he'll do some EQing for me, and he'll tighten everything up, and he'll be like, this maybe isn't the right sound, so I'll go back and fix the sound. Or I'll say that for him, like, I'll come in, he's like, what do you think of this song? And I was like, I like this, I like this, I like this, but I was like, I don't think this is the right sound, you know. It's like the right rhythm, the right melody. It's just the sound doesn't fit, or the sound sounds like it's from 2010. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so we help each other out, which is like, I've always liked having somebody in the studio with me, whether or not they know how to make music or not, because it's like I always kind of tell, you do the little glance back, and they're like that, or they're like looking at you like, what's he doing? And you're like, okay, that doesn't work. You know, it comes back to like reading a crowd. You know, so I kind of like having an audience.
I gotta admit, I almost used to always like DJing with my buddies. We used to do it as a group.
Yeah.
There was 5 of us. We'd do parties together, organise those events, but then we'd split up over the weekends, and 2 of us would go and play here together.
Yeah.
And you'd do back-to-back with each other, maybe 3 tracks each, 2 tracks each.
Yeah.
It made it fun. You bounce off each other.
It is. I personally like back-to-backs, but there was a point a couple of years in my career that it was like I was getting booked every gig to do a back-to-back with somebody.
Yeah.
And it was like, you don't always vibe properly with
it's got again, I was going with someone I knew real good.
Absolutely.
My buddy from my group. We knew the same music. He actually worked at the record store. He was the guy that was getting my vinyl in for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were doing it, we're playing very similar stuff anyway.
Oh, perfect.
And we're on the exact same level musically and personality relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Where you're actually just having fun.
Just
like,
having fun.
You know, there could be a crowd of however many people, but it's like, if you're having fun, they're gonna have fun.
Absolutely.
Right? So I find that with Derek Vanuk, when I play back to back with him, we have kind of diverse styles. Like, I'm a little bit more drummy and loopy, whereas he does a little bit more breakdowns. But I find when we play together, we kind of balance each other out. He gets a little bit more of the emotion. I get a little bit more of the make the dance floor go.
Cool.
Right? And it comes together as a good thing. But then I've also had back-to-backs with people that you're like, you look at them, you're like, dude, we're playing for 4 hours. Like, why are you playing your biggest hits? Like 30 minutes in, right?
What are you doing?
Like, we got a while. Like, save those, you know, let's build them up.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, sometimes I find that some DJs in this city don't do is like tell enough of a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take you on the journey.
Yeah, take you on the journey, which is like one of my favorite DJs, if not my favorite DJ in Vancouver, Kevin Shue. Amazing DJ. He doesn't get really good until after 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The longer he plays, the better he gets.
He's like, on that slow road.
And it's just amazing. And he'll play songs that you play better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, it's the exact same song. Like, how? And he's just like that. Like, I could sit there and just watch him play. It could be like Kevin Shue and then me playing at Gorg or whatever, and I'd just be like, well, I don't even want to play. I just kind of want to listen to him play. So I got nothing but respect for Kevin Shue. He's probably my favorite DJ in the city. Cool. So talented, and his song selection is on point, and I don't think I've ever heard him mess up ever.
Awesome. Do you have any DJ gigs booked yourself coming up? I know obviously because of COVID and stuff, it's a bit shitty right now. I have
a little. So the last one I played was the Leave Us Lost outdoor party at the Waldorf parking lot there, and then I got this little secret thing for a DJ named Mazu. Steph, she's got like a little secret birthday party thing that's happening, so I'm going to play that. It's on the 17th of November.
Cool.
Not quite sure the location. I can't remember.
Secret.
Secret.
It's secret.
Yeah.
On request.
Yeah. So yeah, just that, and honestly, I'm kind of just focusing on production right now. So if a gig comes, I'll take it, but I'm not actively going out and searching for them just yet, because it's like we're not completely open. Yeah. And it's like, why not just enjoy myself? Enjoy my 2-year vacation.
Use your time to do what you want to do.
Absolutely. So
it's awesome.
Well, you're always welcome to come and jam in my studio.
Yeah. Hey, anytime, man. Hit me up. I'll come hang out with you guys.
Come over and have a little jam on the turntables too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. See, I'm so like when it comes to turntables, I'm not the best, but I can.
It doesn't matter.
I can play.
Yeah, there you go.
Matter, man.
Yeah. There you go.
So it does not matter.
I'm actually thinking. I'll be honest with you. And this, like, Brad might even be shocked. No, he's not, because he knows I have, because I told him. I've thought about buying. I've never really played on these.
Yeah.
Barely touched them. Touched them once. Not this model, but any of them.
Yeah.
Right? I had the controllers. It's similar thing.
There is one Pioneer controller, not to cut you off.
Yes.
That is actually decent. That is like, it feels like, it's the one that's got like the two. You can have the 2 channels. You can do USBs.
But again, isn't it like $3,000 or something stupid?
I think it's closer to 2. I think.
Is it?
But check Marketplace.
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace.
I had the Newmark one.
Yeah.
The Newmark bought out. So Pioneers don't actually turn, right? The platter.
Yeah.
You just got the light spinning. Rain, Rain mixers.
Mm-hmm.
So Rain have just brought
Yeah.
out the Rain 1, which is supposedly the first controller that's got spinning platters.
Oh, nice.
But it's not. I've got the original, which is the Newmark, the NS7, and it's a big controller, and it's fucking heavy, man. It feels like almost the weight of 2 Technics.
Okay.
Close to, like it's a lump, and it's got the spinning platters. Well, I bought that. Fuck, man. I've got the Mark II. I bought that, I don't know how many years ago. Great controller.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Like I said,
and it does feel like it, right?
Yeah.
And it's got, it looks like Pioneers almost, right? It's got all your hot cue pads. It's got all the gadgets, all the effects that you could think of. And I loved it for years. But then, like I said, again, I was just like, oh, fuck, man, I want to do it on a turntable again.
Yeah.
And then I did the digital thing on the turntable, and then I did the vinyl. So you got to come over.
Hey,
we'll
if you ever want to learn, I would have no problem showing
I'm
you how to use the CDJs.
I'm thinking about buying a set.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about buying a set of like I don't know if 900s or I'm not sure.
Right? So when it comes to the CDJs, I think if you're gonna get actual CDJs, I would just go get the 2000s.
2000s, yeah.
Like I'm one of those people that like I would much rather just spend the money on
I agree.
the
and
right
get
thing
what you
the first
should
time.
do. Yeah.
And then when it comes to the actual mixers, like I still think the old 900s are one of the better ones. They got the better like freaking sound card in them.
We talked about this on our last interview with Sivs actually. I've got an old Pioneer mixer.
Nice.
Don't like it. I've got the DJM 600.
Yeah.
Hate the sound card.
Yeah.
I hate the sound out of it. I bought it for cheap. Like I got it for $200 or something.
Yeah, so
I don't know what it is, man. It's one of the shittiest sounding mixers I've ever had in my life. Right? And I've had a few.
Well, Rain's got a nice little a 2-channel mixer.
Yeah.
It sounds great, and it sounds great for because you can actually put 2 CDJs and 2 turntables on it, and you can just switch.
And just switch, yeah. I've actually got a Mixars. So Mixars did it first. It's called the... now I've stumped myself. The Duo Mark II. And it's, again, 2-channel mixer. Serato ready. Look that one up. Yeah. It's Serato ready.
Yeah.
You don't need to like have any software. It's straight in, just do whatever, or an external sound card. Sorry, so it's Serato ready. Newmark bought out a copy of it called the Newmark Scratch, and the Newmark Scratch was about $100 less. Sound card in that thing, mate, unbelievable.
Nice.
Just so deep.
You'll have to send me a link for that one later. I want to look it up.
So. Yeah, we'll do. It's a pretty cool little mixer.
So I've got the 750 because I play live, so I play with my synths, and I've got the 750, which is okay. It's not great. I'd love a 6-channel so I can have some more synths to my setup. But
yeah.
I like the effects on the Pioneers. You know, you
I
delay,
do.
The echo.
They work, and they're nice. Like the reverb's nice, the delay, the echoes, the nice, the color effects are nice on the Pioneers. Everything other than that is kind of just.
I haven't. I'll be honest with you. Me personally, I haven't really played. I don't think. Did I ever play on your one? I don't. Or did you?
I would like the Model 1, which is Richie Horton's one, mixer.
Yeah,
that's apparently like the best.
We could sit here now for another couple of hours just talking about equipment. Hey,
Part
you ready?
2.
You ready?
No, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate you coming
thank
on.
you for having me.
Totally appreciate it, mate. It's been great having you on.
Absolutely.
Great little chat. Can't wait to actually maybe coming out and seeing you at a show or listening to some of the new
You can always come to the studio,
set up a day, come out to the studio, and like you're saying you wanted to do like a live stream. We could even set up a live stream there.
That would be super cool.
Because there's tons of room. It's actually way bigger.
We could bring all this gear and do a little podcast from there.
Yeah.
How's that?
You know, because we got some couches, so we could maybe like I'll see if Adam and John want to come in. We'll do like
we've got some extra mics.
All 5 of us. We've got some mics there as well.
Yeah,
so
we can all have a chinwag.
Absolutely, just a little like I don't even know what I'm talking about.
A chat.
Yeah, a little chat. Yeah.
Perfect. So right on. Well, thank you so much, Jared. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for making the journey out to come and see us.
Hey, not a problem at all. It's my old hood, so I like it.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man.